If Journey was not the genesis of a new genre of cozy game, it was at least among the founding fathers. A type of game almost singularly dedicated to making you feel good about the way you moved around in it. Over the years, these games, the ones either focused entirely on movement and exploration of the world, or the ones that built gameplay loops into that satisfying sense of motion, have been my favorite games to experience. They're the ones I return to over and over again. Hello everyone, my name is Dad Joke Cinema, and I'm here to talk to you about some of my favorite games. Games like Gris, which feels like the most direct side-scroller analog to Journey. The tiny scale of the game Unravel and its sequel only made everything you did feel bigger. Firewatch took the idea of a walking simulator to heart and used the interesting terrain you traversed to hide the story's layered secrets. And then there's the best game I've ever parkoured through, the incomparable Mirror's Edge, even if it wasn't that cozy. There's something special about a game that just feels that good to move through. But Journey has always been king for me in that area. Prior to Journey, game designer Genova Chen co-founded that game company and released Flow, originally a Flash game, on the PlayStation 3. You're listening to the soundtrack for it in the background. It feels like a meditative version of the early stages of Spore and is limited in actual gameplay. A few years later, the spiritual successor to Flow, called Flower, zoomed in even more on the experiential side of the game. While there are puzzles and levels to complete, and that forms a sort of narrative arc, the game is both short and dreamlike, and more about the feeling of playing it than anything else. The release of Flower brought about the first time I remember hearing the argument about what is required for something to actually qualify as a game. Journey, which came along just over 11 years ago, is the perfect distillation of the concept Chen was striving for. It has gameplay mechanics, puzzles, a narrative arc, potentially hostile challenges, and an emotional story told completely through the world you play in. There's even drop-in multiplayer with a rudimentary communication system between players. But the core of the game is how it looks and feels to move through the sand. The flying, the sliding, every part of the way the player moves is memorable and satisfying. I remember with incredible clarity the first time I slid down a dune in that game. When I found the trailer for a game called Europa, I initially looked at it due to the potential connection to astronomy and the lush, interesting art style. But what I came away with was an unquenchable need to experience the flying in this game. You play as an android exploring a terraformed version of one of Jupiter's moons, and the equipped jetpack allows you to soar and explore in a way that looks so incredibly fun. Beyond just flying, the trailers for the game show various biomes that seem to allow the player to glide across water and slide on ice as well. Europa is being made as a side project by Helder Pinto, an art lead at Blizzard working on art direction for Overwatch and other games. Pinto describes the game as Ghibli-inspired, and it's slated for a 2023 release. The description for the game says it is a peaceful game of adventure, exploration, and meditation, with a breathtaking world of lakes, meadows, and mountains, with the remains of a fallen civilization nestled among those features. You, playing as an android named Z, are trying to uncover the secrets of what happened here. Like Flower, the story involves humanity's relationship with nature, but this time on a transformed rock that now seems devoid of human life. I know, comparing a game that only has 2 trailers and some screenshots to one of the greatest games of all time is fraught, and that's not what I'm going for here. I have no idea if Europa will be anything like Journey, or if the movement in the game will live up to the high bar I'm setting for it. But when I saw those trailers, I was reminded of the limitless joy I felt when moving in those types of games, and those memories filled me with feelings of peace and the desire to experience that again. That game company focused on how their games felt to play more than anything else. And if Pinto and their friends are aiming for the same goal, then I can't wait to get my hands on it. The link to the Steam page for Europa is in the description below. Some of you may not know, but when I'm not playing cozy games, I work for NASA. Astronomy and space exploration has been a passion of mine since I was a child. While the world of Europa in the game I talked about today looks like Greater Hyrule in spring, the actual moon floating close to Jupiter's clouds is covered in ice and sits around -260 degrees Fahrenheit on the surface. But scientists agree that there may be liquid water under the surface, a great global ocean. And like Saturn's large moon Enceladus, we've detected large geysers spraying water vapor and other substances up into space. NASA has a few missions looking at Europa, but my favorite is the Europa Clipper, which will launch next year and arrive at Jupiter in 2030. The satellite will map and observe the moon and potentially fly a probe through the vents to look for signs of life still remaining in the water vapor before they are destroyed by the radiation of space. A search on YouTube will find a number of really wonderful videos about the moon and the Europa Clipper mission. I was surprised to learn that you can watch a live stream of the clean room where they are working on the craft out at JPL. Maybe someday I'll get to do a video about what we find on Jupiter's icy ocean moon. But for now, what games do you love to move through? Have you played Journey? Have you heard about Europa before? Let me know in the comments below, and as always, have a great day.